Good to see you this Thursday evening, and thanks for tuning in with us on WFMY Plus. We're here to give you the latest on what we can expect heading into tomorrow afternoon and evening with this weather impact alert. Again, it is going to be from around 2 o'clock all the way until around 8 o'clock into tomorrow evening. We're hoping that it'll wrap up before then, but again, we're kind of giving it a little bit of buffer time heading into the evening. Some of these strong showers and storms could become severe at times. The main threats are going to be high wind and also some damaging hail within these storms. So what we need you to do is make sure you're staying alert and keeping your WFMY app handy and ready to go. Before we dive into those shower and storm chances for tomorrow afternoon and as well as those threats, I kind of wanted to start here on the radar. It's been kind of busy these last several hours with a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings impacting Stokes, again also for us in Forsyth and also Guilford County. So let's kind of zoom in just a little bit on our area specifically. This is actually new for right now. There is a flash flood warning that just got issued all the way until 9:30 due to the fact that we're seeing lots and lots of heavy rain kind of sit over the same location. You can see this kind of redevelopment of these scattered showers and storms right here along Davidson, Montgomery, Randolph, and Stanley counties. This is until around 9:30. If you're going to be in this area, please be careful, especially if you're going to be driving. It really does not take much to hydroplane. And other portions here of the Triad, we're also continuing to track some moderate to heavy rainfall in portions of Guilford County. You know, some of these strong storms can pack a punch, not just in regards to the heavy rain, but also lightning and even a little bit of hail. We're continuing to watch that scattered shower and storm that went just through Summerfields, continuing to push east around 10 to 15 miles per hour, 20 to 30 miles per hour, I should say. Continuing to move, and as it does so, dumping a lot of rain and even a little bit of hail and bringing some lightning as it does so. Let's zoom out just a little bit more. So for Summerfield, we're seeing hail size around 0.3 inches, but this storm has really been tracking east for the last little bit. So I'm going to show you its kind of route here. Since it was in King, we saw that hail size was around 0.5 in diameter, and it's continued to kind of bring in more and more hail as it's traveled toward the east, continuing to push over Summerfield. It has died down just a little bit, but that just goes to show you that these storms can and will hold on to that strength for as long as they can. A look at the satellite and radar for right now. Again, across our area, it's still pretty nice and pretty busy across the region. Again, some of these storms bringing in not only just heavy rain, but lightning and some hail across the area. We're continuing to track that one cell right now, moving into portions of Montgomery, Davidson, and Randolph right now. That actually is spawning that flash flood warning. So let's zoom in just a little bit on that. You can see the lightning in association with this storm and even a little bit of hail. This is right near Baden Lake. This is also near El Dorado. Also just to the north of Albemarle, where we're seeing the majority of that higher reflectivity, which is showing us that is where we're seeing the heaviest rainfall rates across the area. Not only rain and lightning, but also some pretty decent hail that we've seen within that storm as it continues to kind of push toward the northeast. Not very quickly at that, hail size around 0.8 inches. So if this storm continues to strengthen, it really wouldn't surprise me if we are able to see another severe thunderstorm or two into the night tonight. Again, all from that system that's continuing to usher in more moisture from our south due to that warm front. So with that being said, you know, it's to no surprise that this flash flooding risk for our area is all over North Carolina due to that moisture coming in from the south. It's going to continue to do so for the next several hours, I would say, into the night tonight and also into early tomorrow morning. So take that as you will. Maybe don't go out on the roads tonight if you don't absolutely have to. And if you are going to be out on the roads, please be careful while you're driving. That means take it slow. And of course, look for the ponding alongside the roads because it really doesn't take much to hydroplane. Flash flood risk for the day tomorrow, again, is a little bit more toward the northern side of North Carolina and to the north also in portions of Virginia. Not really going to be our highest threat for tomorrow, the heavy rain. It's more so going to be the damaging winds and also the small hail that we could be seeing in some of those severe thunderstorms. Rainfall so far for today, Albemarle up almost to around an inch or so just from that steady rainfall that I showed you in association with that right now flash flood warning across the area. Other places up to around a couple hundredths of an inch, almost to a tenth of an inch here in Salisbury, with certainly more to come into the next couple of hours and into early tomorrow morning. Temperatures across the board were mainly in the 70s, but notice Winston-Salem here, Mount Airy and Walnut Cove in the upper 60s, right at around 70 degrees due to those cooling showers coming in across our area. Also significantly cooler here in Albemarle, 67 currently compared to Troy there in Montgomery County at 75. Dew points, it certainly is soupy out right now. We are in the 60s, mid to upper 60s and low to mid 70s for dew points. It is air that you can wear. Next 12 hours, we're seeing those rain chances kind of continue through around 11 or 1 a.m., then slowly starting to die off, at least for the morning. But that is going to change by the time we're into the afternoon as well as into the evening with that weather impact alert into the afternoon and evening. 2 o'clock all the way through around 8 o'clock. Scattered severe thunderstorms are going to be possible. Again, this is kind of the heat of the day with that actual cold front pushing into the area. That cold front is going to be bringing in some dynamic changes for our atmosphere, which is going to be kind of, showing in, bringing that growth in for the convection within those cells to become severe and pretty strong across our area, with the main threats being that hail and of course those damaging winds. So here's that cold front kind of showing you on our futurecast, zoomed out just a little bit, impacting not only us but much of the Carolinas and also into Georgia, bringing in that chance of scattered showers. We could see a couple way out ahead of the front, but I really think that we're really going to be seeing the actual strength within some of these cells along the front itself, which is going to continue to be into the afternoon and evening by around 4, 5, 6 o'clock, over by around 7 or 8 o'clock before we slowly start to dry out by the time we're over and into the weekend. A look at the rapid refresh model into tomorrow morning. Again, I'm really expecting the front part of the day to be mainly dry, but by around lunchtime, 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that's when we start to see that line kind of push through the area. And it kind of went through very quickly there for the area, and it is going to be like that for tomorrow afternoon and evening. Again, the main things that we're going to be keeping an eye on are going to be the damaging wind gusts, the hail, and of course the low threat for an isolated tornado and heavy rainfall. But these two are really going to be our major concerns for tomorrow afternoon and into the evening. It is worth noting that the Storm Prediction Center has put us under a level 2 out of 5. This kind of is a grading scale to show, what the severity of these storms might look like. And it does look like the scattered severe storm threat is going to be a little bit more toward the east and for us versus not as much of a threat toward our west, that you could see right here as a 1 out of 5. So this is more isolated in nature. This is a little bit more scattered as we go toward the east from the Triad all the way to the coastline. Tornado risk is also going to be pretty low for our area, but it is not non-zero. So keep that in mind heading into the day tomorrow. Make sure you have your safety plan in place and make sure you have multiple ways to receive those warnings. Hail risk again is going to be a little bit more elevated throughout the day for tomorrow afternoon and also into the evening. Damaging wind, of course, also are one of our two things that we're going to have to be keeping an eye on. Again, the window is going to be from around 2 o'clock all the way through around 8 o'clock due to those severe storms, damaging wind, and even some possible hail across the area. Go ahead and make sure you're staying alert. So I'm going to take one last look here at the radar before I pass it over to Tim to kind of give you a couple more updates on what to expect into the day tomorrow afternoon and into the evening. So we are continuing to track that flash flood warning in portions of Montgomery and Davidson and Randolph counties, where we're continuing to watch just the rain come down in waves as more scattered those scattered storms continue to redevelop right along that line, and more storms continue to impact the area tonight with more rain on the way tonight and into early tomorrow. Tim.
Thank you, Claire. We're watching a whole lot of stuff going on just today and tomorrow. It's already been a really wet week, and now we have a couple different storm risks. I'm going to start you out by looking at Greensboro, okay? We're seeing some extremely dark clouds, pretty ominous view over downtown Greensboro. Now, it's not raining in downtown, but a lot of folks are really seeing some heavy rain in Guilford County at the moment. Temperatures still in the 70s and lots of humidity as well. There's some really torrential rain happening in parts of Guilford County. Quite a bit of lightning as well. Most of it right now is on the northern side of the county. Now, we're still talking about today. We'll get to tomorrow in a second, but I do think we need to kind of show you what we could be facing over the next couple of hours just through this evening. You see all these storms kind of gathering up on radar. Right now we have thunder, lightning, and more importantly to me, it looks like heavy rain could start to become a little bit of a problem. I'm going to zoom in over Guilford County right now. Look how intense this rain has gotten just on the northeast side of Greensboro, just to the north of Sedalia and Gibsonville as well. You're really getting it with heavy rain, frequent lightning too. There could even be maybe a little bit of hail inside here. I'm noticing some pinks and purples just in that part of the county. It's also starting to rain more heavily over PTI. We're starting to see that rain kind of overtake downtown as well. In Alamance County, part of the same shower and thunderstorm system there too. On the north side, up by Altamaha, Ossipee, over to Green Level, a lot of heavy rain, lightning as well. This is something that could be causing issues with flooding over the next few hours because they're not moving all that quickly. That slow movement can take its toll, especially as we see more storms roll in later on tonight. Rockingham County, you're doing all right, just some steady rainfall at the moment. I've moved you a lot now on the radar, so apologies for that, but we're way south now, closer to Troy. There you are in Troy. This is Montgomery County, Baden Lake right over here. Claire was telling you about this as well. Just want to reiterate, flash flood warning has been issued around Baden Lake where there's a torrential storm. But you see what I mean? Notice how a lot of these different showers are kind of moving their way over the same area over and over again. We could get into trouble with some flood concerns as we go through this evening, but also into the overnight hours. So there is some flash flood risk as we go into tonight, and I think you'll want to be ready for that. If you're home, staying home probably a good idea, as those roadways could get a little bit on the sloppy side with lots of puddles and ponding of water on the roadways. Easy for me to say. Let's take a look at the weather pattern that's causing all of this. Right now, it's just a little bit of a low pressure impulse that's moving on by. Now, most of this should be kicking out of here by midnight, but a few lingering showers could happen after that as well. Friday starts dry, and we'll see some sunshine through lunchtime. I do want to note through the afternoon time tomorrow, you know, we're on alert for these possible storms that could be rough. Why? Why do we think that there could be some bad storms? Well, part of the reason has to do with what's going on, not at the ground, but actually way above our heads. With this cold front tomorrow, there are some strong winds way above us in the upper atmosphere. What a thunderstorm can do is it can bring those higher winds down to the surface. We call those damaging wind gusts, and that's what can down trees and power lines. So that's part of the energy with the system tomorrow that we're watching. And then once we get into the weekend, that part of the system is gone. There's a reinforcing shot of cooler air that could bring a passing shower or storm for Saturday afternoon. I mentioned the severe storm risk for tomorrow. We are at a level 2 out of 5 for your Friday. Lots to talk about as we go into Friday afternoon. But what does that all mean? There can be 3 different types of severe weather when it comes to severe thunderstorms: tornadoes, hail, and wind. So let's go through all 3 of those for you. This would be the risk of tornadoes tomorrow. We're kind of on the western edge of this, but there's at least a low risk of that for your Friday. Something to keep an eye on. Not something to stress too badly over, but make sure you do have a plan in case there is a tornado warning issued for your area tomorrow afternoon. The wind risk is higher for us. We're more in the moderate level for winds tomorrow afternoon. Hail, that's also a concern. Moderate chance of that across our area too. So wind and hail are the main concerns. Tornado would be the lower threat of that. And again, the timing on this hasn't really changed. 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. watching for the possibility of a couple severe storms moving on past our area. So again, we get a lot of these threats in the spring and summertime, April, May, even into June sometimes. This is another one of those. Let me show you our futurecast now. This is going through the next couple of hours. Notice how there is still a lot more heavy rain headed our way through about 2 a.m. or so. Then it starts to kind of quiet down, and we'll start tomorrow on the dry side. Once we get to tomorrow afternoon, that's when things get a little bit busier. Storm threats, wind gusts, and hail are the main concerns. As I said, I want to run through this model one more time. I think I cut it off before it was ready, telling us all what we wanted to know about tomorrow. So there's tomorrow morning. Here's the middle of the day. Notice how quiet it is. That's 9 a.m. This is lunchtime. But once we get to 2 o'clock, that's when the showers and storms start to form over the mountains and then get a little bit closer to us. This is around 3 o'clock. Here would be around 4 o'clock. And you see how intense some of those could be? That's where we'd be worried about damaging wind gusts, hail, and that low tornado threat also. This will continue through about 6 o'clock tomorrow. I think we'll be pretty much done at that point. Let's say 8 o'clock just to be on the safe side. Wind gusts, probably not a big issue outside of the actual thunderstorms themselves, but when they do roll through, you could see a brief wind gust up to 50 or even higher than that miles per hour. I will say winds will become an issue this weekend. Saturday looks to be a pretty windy day behind the front, and we'll also have a chance of that shower. Like I said, you're kind of in the clear by Sunday. And then into early next week, we're in good shape as well. Rain totals from here on out, we'll get a bunch of it tonight, but over the next couple of days, Friday is the main concern with the risk of showers and storms that could be strong. Saturday, just an isolated shower, and then Sunday, Monday, we're not all that worried about rain any longer. Hey, here's the 7-day forecast while we have you here. Temperatures will be in the 70s for the next couple of days. Overall, a little bit muggy for your Friday. Then into the weekend, there will be a drop in humidity by Saturday and for Sunday as well. Temperatures will be in the 80s going into next week, so we'll see a good amount of summertime heat and humidity kind of building back in here. Lately, there's been a lot of talk about where's summer. It's just kind of missing. It'll be back, but it just takes a little while going into next week. While we still have you here, one more recap of what's going on in Greensboro. Very, very dark conditions. The sky is blackened up quite a bit. Wanted to just show you the latest radar for Guilford County. We're hearing a lot of thunder and lightning around our station right now, and this is going to continue to put down some heavy rain over the next little bit. So watch out for some flood concerns. We'll continue to have updates for you throughout the evening. We'll have another live cut in on WFMY Plus. That's coming up for you right around 8 o'clock this evening. In the meantime, stay safe out there.